Jane Fonda, an Oscar-winning actress, a fitness guru, a controversial activist, a true Hollywood icon. But behind the larger-than-life persona, she's also a mother to 3 children, each with a fascinating and incredibly unique story. From the revolutionary streets of Oakland to the art houses of Europe, from Hollywood sets to grassroots activism, their lives are a captivating tapestry of blended families, unconventional upbringings, and the quest for identity in the shadow of a legend. Today, we're diving deep into what happened to Jane Fonda's kids, and trust me, their stories are as compelling as any movie. Number 3. Mary Luana Williams. Born October 13, 1967 in Oakland, California, Mary's early life was deeply intertwined with the Black Panther Party. Her parents, Randy and Mary Williams, were active members, with her father, Randy, being a captain in the organization. She described her Black Panther upbringing as her first family, a place that felt very safe and empowering, where she was told, "You're special, you're wonderful, you're part of something bigger." But this world shattered when Mary was around 4. Her father was arrested and imprisoned. Her mother left to raise 6 children alone, succumbed to alcoholism, and became abusive. Poverty and neglect followed. Mary's family began to fall apart. One sibling ran away, another got involved in drugs and prostitution, and tragically, one sister died violently. To make things even worse, at 14, Mary was sexually assaulted by a theater director. She felt like she was dying. A glimmer of hope appeared when Mary, around 13, was invited to Laurel Springs Children's Camp, run by Jane Fonda, and her then-husband, Tom Hayden. This camp became her escape. Over several summers, she grew closer to Jane, eventually confiding in her about the abuse she'd endured. Jane's response was life-changing. She offered Mary care, therapy, and a proposition. If Mary improved her grades, she could come live with Jane's family. Mary grabbed that lifeline. In 1982, Mary moved from Oakland to Jane Fonda's Santa Monica hacienda. The change was staggering. Landing on the moon would have been less disorienting, she later wrote. She went from a rundown house to a world of flower gardens and celebrity house parties, with Robert De Niro and Oprah. There was no formal adoption. The bond was emotional. Soon after Mary arrived, Jane told her, "I see you as my daughter now. If you want, you can call me Mom." Jane became Mary's greatest friend, my cheerleader, and a dedicated mother. Mary said it took her until her 40s, after a moment where she finally let out her pent-up anger, and Jane met it with unwavering love to truly feel, okay, she does love me. She is my mother. Jane Fonda herself has said, "Mary, help me to become whole," highlighting the mutual healing in their relationship. Mary became part of a blended family, with Jane's biological children, Troy Garrity and Vanessa Vadim, and stepdaughter Natalie Vadim. Mary didn't just settle into a life of privilege. She forged her own path of activism. She worked as a fundraiser for the International Rescue Committee, IRC, and UNESCO. It was at the IRC, encountering Sudanese refugees, that she found her deep calling. In 2000, she founded the Lost Boys Foundation, dedicated to helping the young men orphaned and displaced by the Sudanese Civil War. This cause resonated deeply with her own experiences of feeling lost. She also authored an award-winning children's book in 2005, Brothers in Hope, the story of the Lost Boys of Sudan, to raise awareness. In 2013, Mary published her powerful memoir, The Lost Daughter, detailing her journey between these two vastly different worlds. Writing the book even spurred her to reconnect with her biological mother, a courageous step that led to forgiveness and a renewed relationship. Mary Williams, with an estimated net worth of around $10 to $11 million from her books, speaking, and activism, has built a life of purpose and resilience, bridging her revolutionary roots with the opportunities her new life afforded. Number 2. Vanessa Vadim, born September 28, 1968, in France. Her father was the iconic French film director Roger Vadim. So, Vanessa was born into a true Hollywood and European cinematic dynasty. Her maternal grandfather was Henry Fonda. Interestingly, Jane registered Vanessa under her father's original, less famous surname, Plemiannikov, in an attempt to give her some anonymity. Vanessa attended Brown University, graduating with honors. Even then, her social conscience was clear. In the summer of 1988, she was in Nicaragua, helping build a school and clinic. She later enrolled in NYU's programs for English, creative writing, and film. But her passion for documentary filmmaking led her to leave and co-found Mayday Media, a nonprofit production company. Her path wasn't without bumps. In 1989, Vanessa was arrested in New York City on charges including loitering and drug-related offenses. Jane Fonda was reportedly very supportive during this difficult time. The relationship between Vanessa and Jane has had its complexities. Jane has publicly expressed regret about not being the mother she wished she'd been, admitting she was often an absent parent due to her escalating activism, ironically echoing her own childhood experiences with her father, Henry Fonda. Vanessa, who didn't participate in new interviews for the 2018 HBO documentary Jane Fonda in 5 Acts, though archival footage was used, once wittily described her mother's many transformations by suggesting for a biographical video. Why don't you just get a chameleon and let it crawl across the screen? Despite past difficulties, Jane has said things are easier between us now. Vanessa's memories of her father, Roger Vadim, who passed away in 2000, are filled with warmth. She once said if she could have lunch with anyone, alive or dead, it would be him, calling him one of the most interesting people I've known, and hands down the best cook. As a filmmaker, Vanessa directed and was the cinematographer for the acclaimed 2002 short documentary, The Quilts of Gee's Bend, which highlighted the masterpieces created by rural black women in Alabama. This film, co-produced and co-directed with her then-husband, Matt Arnett, earned praise for its intimate portrayal of the artists. Beyond film, Vanessa is a dedicated environmental activist. For years, she wrote a syndicated column called Ask Vanessa for platforms like Mother Nature Network and Tree Hugger, offering practical advice on green living. She also hosted environmental radio spots in Atlanta. She founded V2 Synergy, an environmental consulting firm specializing in designing edible landscapes and sustainable gardens. She's a sought-after speaker on environmental issues and facilitates grant-making for social and environmental justice organizations. Recently, she was listed as a signatory for Artists for Ceasefire, calling for peace in Gaza and Israel. Vanessa was married to Matt Arnett, with whom she has a daughter, Viva Vadim, born 2002. She also has a son, Malcolm Vadim, born 1999. Since 2010, she has been married to Paul Van Wagener. However, in a 2022 interview, she described herself as a single parent. After living in the South for over 16 years, Vanessa relocated to Vermont, drawn by the Putney School for her children. There, she's deeply involved in local government, serving as a Justice of the Peace in Putney, on the Planning Commission, and on the board of the Brattleboro Food Co-op. She describes herself as a small-scale, regenerative agriculture farmer, advocate, and artist. Number 1. Troy Garrity, Jane Fonda's son, with her second husband, political activist Tom Hayden. Born Troy O'Donovan Garrity Hayden on July 7, 1973 in Los Angeles, his name itself is a story. Garrity was his paternal grandmother's maiden name, chosen to give him some anonymity from his parents' high-profile, often controversial, activism. Troy was a tribute to Nguyen Van Troy, a Vietnamese resistance leader, reflecting his parents' anti-war stance. Growing up in Santa Monica, with parents so deeply involved in living our politics, meant an unconventional childhood. Troy described communal housing and family vacations that were often protests. He started acting as a child at Laurel Springs Camp, which his mom saw as fun and therapeutic. He had an uncredited appearance in the classic On Golden Pond as a kid. After attending the University of Colorado Boulder, Troy dedicated himself to acting, studying at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York, and becoming part of its repertory company. He wanted to tackle serious stuff and avoid typecasting. His breakout film role came in 2002 as Isaac Rosenberg, the sole white boy in the hit comedy Barbershop. Earning praise for his charm and sharing a Best Ensemble award, he reprised the role in Barbershop 2 Back in Business 2004 and had a cameo in Barbershop, The Next Cut, 2016. A year later, in 2003, Troy delivered a stunning, critically acclaimed performance in the Showtime movie Soldier's Girl. He played Private Barry Winchell, a U.S. soldier murdered for his relationship with a transgender showgirl. This powerful role earned him a Golden Globe nomination and an Independent Spirit Award nomination. He described it as emotionally taxing and the most important film he'd done at that point. His diverse filmography includes roles in Bandits, 2001, with Bruce Willis, Danny Boyle's sci-fi film Sunshine, 2007, Gangster Squad, 2013, and, significantly, portraying his own father in Steal This Movie, 2000. On TV, he's known for roles in Star's Boss and HBO's Ballers. He continues to act, appearing in Law & Order, SVU in 2024, and the upcoming film Ella McKay. Like his parents, Troy is deeply committed to activism. He founded the Peace Process Network, PPN, an international gang violence prevention coalition aiming to unite rival gang leaders for peace talks and policy lobbying. He's also served as chairman of Homies Unidos, a Los Angeles organization working on violence prevention in the Central American community for over a decade. And he's a director for the Fonda Family Foundation, working alongside his mother and siblings to support various social and environmental justice causes. Troy married actress Simone Bent in 2007. He maintains close relationships with his family, often appearing with Jane at major events, like her recent SAG Lifetime Achievement Award. He participated in the HBO documentary Jane Fonda in 5 Acts, sharing insights into their unique family life. They weren't just Jane Fonda's kids. They are individuals who, faced with extraordinary circumstances, forged their own paths, wrestled with their identities, and ultimately made their own marks on the world.